We are no longer physicians. We're providers.
Ask your baby's permission.
Gay people, you have become a product. Should auto insurance cover STD? Are you freaking kidding me? So you demean us. You don't get a parade for a sexual preference. To not hurt the feelings of somebody with a fraction of my training. That a beaver's ass presented this to the world. It's a natural flavor. But you are literally an ice cube in a martini shaker. Oh, look at that good-looking couple.
I think we look better in the videos than we do here today, but we're showing up for everybody.
Yeah, it's all good. So we're doing it early. We should have either got a cup of coffee or a Bloody Mary.
Well, welcome to Doctales with no cocktails, morning edition. I think it's going to be the morning show with Joe. Change your name.
No, we're not going to do that. But anyway, so welcome. We have a few stories. We'll get caught up. Some current events, some wacky stuff that's happened in medicine, and the last story, a very interesting, what do you call that? Executive order that Trump sent out yesterday, believe it or not. And most people will go, excuse me, that doesn't happen all the time. You will be floored when you hear it.
Wonderful. And I'm here to moderate the direction of the show for today.
That's right. You are the cooling rods in the nuclear reactor to make sure that I don't
all right.
Go.
Well,
what do they call that? Meltdown, become the China syndrome, melt all the way through the earth to the other side of the earth. That's where the China syndrome name came from. Did you know that? From a meltdown, where just the whole concept was it would melt, the nuclear core would get so hot it would melt all the way to the other side of the earth, which is not possible, but that's where the name came from.
Well, isn't that a fun fact for the day?
So everybody under the age of 60 has no idea what I'm talking about, because that was a movie with, sadly, I believe Gene Hackman was in that movie.
Sad why you thought of it.
And sadly, Gene Hackman and his lovely wife of 34 years were found deceased with their deceased dog in their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
That's so sad.
This morning, which is very sad, which makes you think of a gas leak.
Which is why we have a gas detector in our home, which actually everyone should have. CO2 detector, plug it in. It's really
well, it's
simple.
the natural gas too.
Yes.
Which I've been married to a
CO2
natural gas
yes.
detector for 33 years. You are a gas detector.
Mm-hmm.
It's like planted on the front of your head.
Mm-hmm. That's my job.
The most sensitive gas detector in the
I might not be able to
entire
hear very well, but I can
world.
smell.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So if that happens, like, would you, if you lost your hearing, would you just like smell your way to places like a bat, except you'd use a sense of smell instead of sonar? Like just.
I suppose that would be an option. Not
It's
a
like
good one.
It's like when I meet these people in the morning that are walking their dogs, and it's like some of these little dogs have to smell every single blade of grass before they eat. It's amazing.
It's a whole new world out there for them with all the smells.
Wasn't it crazy when we had our dogs and like you'd go for a walk and they would poop at exactly the same time in exactly the same geographic place? It's like they had this poo GPS.
Well, don't you poop at exactly the same time in exactly the same place every day?
Well, pretty much, but I'm a human being and I flush it. It's not like I'm walking around. Like they're walking around and they get to the same place.
That's their toilet.
And
they
got
know it.
No.
I don't know. I think they
exactly
got their own
the
toilet.
same place.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Just yep.
They're creatures of habit, just like you.
Apparently they are.
Now that I challenged and called your bluff on that one, what do you got?
Okay, so first story here. Let's get to this. This is
We're waiting. We're waiting.
I'm being a producer, which I suck at. Okay. Let's get to this one.
Can you tell us what it is while you're pulling it up?
That is the okay, which one is this?
Story?
Let me see what the story is. Oh yes, this one. This is my favorite story of this week. Democrat Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers proposes change to the word mother instead to inseminated person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is levels of woke insanity that bend the wokeometer like to the red line, because being inseminated, which means to be filled with semen by some other person or
person,
entity,
some
I
other
suppose,
animal,
or space alien if you're from
I suppose
Alabama.
It could be artificial insemination.
Could be a turkey baster. Yes,
I know we had that episode already.
Right. There would be numerous ways for which said person could be inseminated. So, first of all, being inseminated doesn't mean you get pregnant. And if you get pregnant, it doesn't mean that you're a mother. Being a mother means you've had a child. Right? That's what it means. There's a definition. And it's not, and insemination usually has something to do with it, like 100% of the time, except for Jesus.
Or, test tube baby type thing.
True. Yes. You could have external insemination where the said person was not inseminated. Correct. And then the fertilized egg was reimplanted. So that's true. That's
or with
that would be
a surrogate.
That would be your own personal Jesus, I guess, if you had the uninseminated child implanted in you. So
I know it's
anyway. So anyway, and men can't be inseminated. Of course they can.
We'll leave it at that.
So it's just like, this is completely insane. Completely insane. Well, and why is mother
where are all the women and the feminists up there saying
feminists
degrading the women?
If you're a feminist, that means you love the feminine and you want to empower the feminine. The most feminine thing you can do in the entire world is produce a child, deliver it, nurse it with your body, and then kick its ass out to college at 18. It's called being a mother. And hopefully in there, you instill some values and other good things.
Why don't
it's called a mother for a reason.
It has speak up and like be pissed off about being labeled as an inseminated person. That is just derogatory. That's all.
Well, I'm waiting for the next movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I am the inseminator. I will inseminate all the women.
No thanks.
They will not be mothers, so it will be inseminated with my bionic semen. Yes.
Gross.
Inseminator 2, 3. You thought I was the governor. I am the inseminator. Like, it's so completely.
No, but it's just I don't understand. No, but it's just so bad. One of these things to make headlines, just to grab attention. I mean, what was the thing before that?
Well, no, actually,
the same thing, wasn't it? Birthing persons. Yes. Remember that?
No. This is even better than what the Canadians came up with when they had that Canadian Cancer Society, and they didn't want to exclude trans women who don't have a cervix.
Oh yes.
With a front hole.
Yes.
People that have a front hole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But where are we this is where the current education system has gotten us, with people that think and speak and come up with these thoughts.
Well, they don't think.
Well,
it's all emotion. It's all emotion, and that's the problem.
Have we raised people that think this way? Lord help us.
Well,
my
because they weren't,
and your grandparents and all of our ancestors are rolling in their grave if they hear this kind of talking come out of people that are in power and politics and leadership and leading our kids, and inseminated persons, people with front holes and birthing persons. Like, what the hell? What has happened to is this just America?
No.
Is this the world?
Well, it's worse here though. The woke stuff, because it's starting to lose its luster.
I mean, does Australia have this BS? Does England
to a degree?
Wow.
So yeah, except they're Sheilas in Australia. They're not
Karens.
They're not Karens. They're well, Sheila is like
we've lost our collective freaking mind.
No, we've lost our minds.
I'm just like,
Jesus,
take me away.
Yeah, no, this is complete, and it's such a bad mind F. That it makes you wonder if it's the hot blonde chick at the front of the stage during the David
that's
Cop.
what I'm saying.
Because
it's just a distraction.
Because it's so bad, and we get so wound up about it, people with common sense or conservatives or whatever you want to say. And yes, I equated those two things. Yes, I did. That was intentional. It really makes you wonder if it is totally just a psyop mind F as a distraction for some other thing that they actually really care about. Because no one possibly in their right minds,
I don't know, I think there's some
cares about appealing to objectively mentally ill people by being scared that you're going to offend like 0.01% or whatever it is of the population that likes to play like that is legitimately trans. Okay. And then you talk to somebody who's legitimately trans, right? Caitlyn Jenner fits the entire bill, right? For traditionally people that were trans. A male that was in, his 30s to 40s, and then eventually transitions later in life. Okay. That's kind of like for all up until the last, not even decade, that was the standard people that became trans. All right. And when you talk to Caitlyn about this stuff, she's like, this is insane.
Yes.
This is insane. Okay. So Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, however you want. Okay. The guy is like, she is still 6'2" and formerly the greatest athlete in the world, and can play from the women's tees. Like, he's like, no, I have a disadvantage. I mean, I have a significant advantage. I was raised as a male. I was the greatest athlete in the world, and I can hit the living shit out of a golf ball.
Exactly.
So it's like even she understands that. The paragon of trans virtue is like, no, this is bullshit. I gotta quit this.
Which is what I really love and appreciate about Caitlyn. I don't want to use pronouns because I think it's
I'm not. Whatever. Look, but anyway, if you want to be called Mickey Mouse, I don't. Look, if you're an adult and I could call you weird or whatever, but like, good for her. It's like, yes, fair. Inseminated. Like this one is like this is.
I don't know. I think maybe it is just baiting again for some other purpose. You gotta wonder. But what else would be going on? Is it baiting just like Canada is the 51st state? Come on, you people up in Canada, you got to know that's just him playing you.
On. The guy,
we got to go there.
The guy is a real estate developer from Queens who was a reality TV star and was a media pimp his entire career. Now, Canada, this is the definition of, excuse my French, I'm fucking with you.
Yes.
And if you can't understand that coming from, I love Governor Trudeau, then you don't get the joke.
No.
And Canadians have great comedians. And, he's kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit, because if Alberta or Saskatchewan said, hey, we actually want to leave, then Trump can say, see, I told you. No, it is totally a troll.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
I know that.
And how long would it take?
And the people's indignation and just they're freaking out.
We'll keep our country, thank you. Okay, keep your country. That's fine. What, you don't want to be able to cross the border that doesn't exist and live in Hawaii? I'll stay in Grand Prairie, Alberta, thank you. Where when I pee outside, I absolutely stick my unit to the ground. It's so cold. I will stay and be a proud Canadian. I would never want to live in Florida or Hawaii. They have palm trees. They have sun that makes me not sad or depressed. They have less taxes. They don't have free healthcare, though, and I want my free healthcare that I stand in line till I die. But it's free, and I'm in line, and I'm dead, but I got no care. But I'm a proud Canadian.
And you got butter tarts and poutine.
I got poutine and butter tarts and red rose tea, and we don't make a damn thing. Other than birch bark whitings and canoes made out of birch bark and moccasins that have been sewed together with the missing teeth of some native person. And there's still a little bit of ketchup chip residue on that tooth as I sew those moccasins together.
Still pickle chips.
And they won't fit. Of course, you put the moccasins on, and they don't fit. Do you know why? Because you have to put the moccasins on, and you have to walk 50,000 miles in the tundra before they mold to your feet.
You're like Birkenstocks for Canadians.
Like, seriously, you get these things and you put them on, and it's like they smell all smoky, and they, all this, and it's like a hunting lodge feeling, and it's like, did I just buy?
I still have like diseased toenails from trying to stretch out a pair.
Did I just buy The shoe, like the little Chinese foot binding shoes.
You did.
Is that what I bought?
You did. Oh my gosh, how did we get? Okay, we're way digressing today.
But I'm staying in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Damn it!
But if they become the 51st state, you'll get to do that again.
That's right. It'll be great.
While you're
It's
eating
like,
your ketchup, I'm eating dill pickle chips.
It'll be one of those things. It's like, what happened to Edmonton and Calgary? There was just over 1 million people in each city. They all moved to Kona.
They all walked in their moccasins.
They're like,
Kona.
You're like, holy shit, eh? Like, I can take my Labatt's and I can get on the canoe and I can paddle the living shit out of my canoe and get to Kona.
Oh my gosh, I haven't laughed
where
for a
it's
while.
not
Feels good.
4 billion below zero. Yes, the Edmonton Oilers will now become the Kona Outriggers. The Kona Outriggers.
Oh my goodness.
Connor McDavid with a tan. I love mocking Canada, though. It's such an easy thing to, because we're from.
Well, we can make fun of it.
It's so easy to mock
because
them,
it's self-deprecating humor.
Well, we're going to tariff you back on all the things that we don't make, that we don't export to the United States because we only export raw materials. Okay.
Smarties. What else do they export?
No,
they don't. You can't get those.
No. That's
Red
Cadbury.
Rose tea. Oh, that came from.
Where
did that come from? England?
Yeah, it's from England.
We bought some. All right, okay, I'm doing a bad job of reeling us in today. What's next?
Okay, this one is crazy. Doctor charged with arson for allegedly setting another doctor's home on fire.
Oh, bad doctor.
I think they frown upon that. I had to spend 3 hours literally in the Arctic tundra, which is no joke, the Arctic tundra of the something or other Hilton in Orlando to sit before the Board of Medical Examiners for the great state of Florida at the beginning of August. Okay, what that meant was 67 or 68 degrees inside, freezing cold, because I'm just sitting there and I'm dressed lightly because outside it is literally the temperature of the surface of the sun. So I'm sitting there listening, and I listen to all of these people that have had issues medically in the past. So my issue was I graduated from a Canadian medical school, so I had to go explain to them that I was board certified in the United States, etc., to get my Florida license, which was not a problem. But for other people, they had problems, like, more than one DUI, etc., etc.
Burning homes down.
That's what I was getting to. I want to be in the room sitting there freezing, like with rock hard frozen nipples in the 67-degree Hilton Hotel of Orlando, listening to the guy. Well, I was in my residency and I was just finishing my residency, and my wife had an affair with one of my coworkers who we went to medical school or whatever. We worked in the same hospital. That's what the story says.
Mm-hmm.
So I burnt his house down.
Oh.
Can I have a license to see small children? And then I want to be on that board because then seriously, I want to be on that board because then I would completely shave off all my remaining hair and I'd go, how about no? I want to be the guy. Like, I want to be on the Florida Board of Medical Examiners, or Florida Health, whatever it's called, the health board, and I want to be the guy. All I do is sit there. I never ask a question. I don't contribute to anything. I just sit there in a buttoned up shirt holding a hairless cat with my bald head, and when we reject somebody, that's the only time I say something, and I go, how about no? And then they just move to the next person. And it's like, no, Dr. Highmarsh has said no, that is irrevocable. Like, we can't. There's not, like, not even DeSantis can change this. How about that? No.
Wow, that's a nutty story, but I think we've shared before some other stuff. Remember in the past about, wasn't it the LASIK eye surgeon that we had?
Oh, that was it. That's the guy that did my LASIK. That was the business that did my LASIK surgery 20 years ago.
Mine too.
Ours. Yeah.
The one guy took a hit out on his partner at work. The two ophthalmologists. Didn't get a Russian mob guy to try to kill him.
I have no idea. Well, they had.
Or did they kill him?
What happened
wait,
was
how did it work?
Well, they didn't kill him.
I
They were five. They were business partners.
Okay, I'm going to think of their name in a second. It's
Machiavac and something else.
Yes.
And they had
the K.
They had.
Like, is it Coke and Machiavac?
Well,
or something?
we can look it up.
Yeah.
They had a
Anyway,
business together.
People can look it up.
So they had a $5 million reciprocal life insurance policy. So which makes sense because if you have a business partner and you're this, I would imagine, would be a $15, $20, $25 million a year business. They did a ton of LASIK. They were the two owners.
Actually, this was in Washington. Right in
just across
Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah, just
right
across
on the border.
Right. So anyways, they
well, and lo and behold,
Machiavac and King and
Machiavac.
So
someone had an affair with the other guy's wife. I mean, with the other guy's wife. The one guy had an affair with the other partner's wife.
And they had $5 million life insurance policies on each other. So the one guy hired a hitman. And now it's not Machiavac and King, it's Machiavac because King is in jail. It's just, oh, yes. It's like, so let me get this straight.
Don't work with. Well, what am I thinking? No, my brain's not working properly. I was thinking of don't work with family. That was another story.
Well, there's a lot of those stories, but I'm like, holy crap. That was like, again, I'm sitting there thinking.
There's a lot of these partner stories on bad, but yeah, another doctor.
But what gets you to this?
Arson?
What gets you to this point?
I don't know. Well, I guess it's better than, I could see people do all kinds of stupid stuff, but it's like next level to actually go burn the house.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so we're having some marital problems. Apparently my wife has had an affair. Do I A, get marriage counseling, B, get a divorce, C, burn my partner's house down? Well, obviously the correct answer is always C.
Sounds like he forgot to take his Prozac that day.
Like it just
wow.
Like that's what I don't get. Like you'd think, okay, like this takes work. Like you got to get into a car, you got to get this stuff to burn the house down with, like the accoutrement, blah blah blah, and then you actually have to go and burn the house down. You think like while you're driving, you're smelling the wafts of gas coming up through the trunk of your car, you'd be going, this might actually be a bad idea and destroy my life. Nope.
No, well at that
burn that sucker down, baby.
All right, number three.
Number three is actually really good. Making America healthy again by empowering patients with clear, accurate, and actionable healthcare pricing information.
Imagine that.
Executive order that came out yesterday.
Pricing information.
Yes.
Like
so
you walk into an office and say, how much is it going to cost?
Well, potentially, but this goes after hospitals. So Trump had signed in his first administration had signed an EU that said this, which is you should be able to call a hospital and say, I want to know, I'm getting a hip replacement. How much do you charge for the hip replacement? How much do you charge for the anesthesia? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now this is hospital bills. I don't think this extends necessarily to physician fees, but it may, and it should if it doesn't. So for instance, I heard a guy talking about this. I mean, this was during the first Trump administration, and he had been a surgeon and he was for medical pricing transparency, and he gave an example. If you're in Boston and you go to Brigham and Women's Health Hospital, it was like $25,000 for a normal vaginal delivery. If you went to the University of Boston or whatever, or the University Hospital, it was like 10. Here's the problem. Those hospitals are both in the Harvard medical system. So they are legitimately part of the same business.
And one wasn't white glove.
And one was 15.
Yeah,
one was like 2.5 times, like 250% more expensive. And this was just one of the examples he gave. And so what happened was they were getting into this medical transparency stuff with regards to pricing. And then Biden came in and literally it was his first or second day in office. He drooled in executive order that got rid of pricing transparency, which tells you everything you need to know about who's in bed with whom and who really gives a shit about making healthcare cheaper, et cetera, et cetera. It's the hospital systems want it as expensive as possible. The insurance companies, because of what Obamacare did to the price structuring, and we've done lots of episodes on that, actually don't care if prices go up. They because they end up making their 12% no matter what. So 12% of $100 is more than 12% of 50. And, so it's classic U.S. healthcare. The only person that gets screwed is you, the patient. And so pricing is great because it starts to peel back the scab and look at what's really going on.
Holding them accountable. It's going to offer up more competitive and reduced costs, right? Because when you start pulling the wool off some of that stuff and people realize, oh man, I'm not paying that, I'm going to go search for other options, whether it be the payers or the insurers, or if you're cash pay, all kinds of things. I mean, let's hope that's the beginning of some reform. That's one step anyway.
Okay, we're going to go with, I have the meme of the week, which I love very much. Comes from Elgato Malo, the Bad Cat. Please follow him on Substack. He's amazing. Believe it or not.
Please follow Tim on Substack.
Yes, I think the Bad Cat may be smarter than me. Hard to believe. True, but here you go. If you can give an 18-year-old kid, a rifle and send him off to fight your wars, you damn sure can give him a computer and let him audit the government. And then there's a person with Doge on his head, like holding someone's eyes open so they have to see. And I could not agree more. Like, seriously, like when you look back at, it's War Pigs. It's the War Pigs song by Black Sabbath, which is, the War Pigs plan their plans, and then, the young men fight and die for their bullshit. And, no example is greater than World War I, which was essentially a dick swinging contest between a bunch of fiefdoms and kingdoms, and they sacrificed an entire generation of young men. Yeah. So for literally nothing. I mean, when you really look at the history of that war. And so and that's exactly it. They're like, you got an 18-year-old autism kid in there, neurodivergent, hacking the government. And it's like, yeah, but you'd send them to kill other people that you don't know. For what? So Raytheon can have a better bottom line. So Halliburton, which you all hated on the left because Dick Cheney was the head of Halliburton, which when you think of that, should make your mouth go completely and utterly dry as like acid like blood comes out of your eyes. The vice president of the United States under Bush was the CEO of a defense contractor. And when you talk to the guys that are there that have done those jobs, it wasn't like Halliburton went in there and like built tanks. They built cities. You could be on a base in Iraq and get McDonald's or Burger King brought to you by Halliburton.
Of course.
And people wonder, why is Liz Cheney
so rich?
Well, I wonder why. I mean, it's, whatever. So price transparency, I can pretty much guarantee after today's show.
You're getting a new pair of moccasins?
Yeah. that if something ever goes completely off the rails in our marriage, probably not going to burn down somebody's house. But, after 33 years, that would be a lot of pent-up anger.
That would be a lot of pent-up anger.
Yeah. And I wonder if there was any satisfaction. Like, just
like burning down the house. Hey, you're going to be the victim if you do anything wayward, not the other
but you're not
woman.
going to burn down the house. You're going to inject me with insulin,
Lorena Bobbitt is my hero.
Klaus von Bülow style, where I just wake up dead. Well, I don't know. He kind of snored, and maybe he was like John Candy, and he just stopped breathing. I don't know.
No, I think Lorena Bobbitt is the pièce de résistance for all of us women that have been.
I think I'm going to get a tattoo on the bottom of my feet that says, if I die in my sleep, check the web spaces of my toes for needle marks. Please. And insulin levels. That's all I'm asking.
They're not going to find anything because there's so much athlete's foot peelage going on. You're going to have to take a black drawing microscope to find it.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that was... a little off the rails today.
That was fun though. I like that. I love making fun of Canadians because they're so easy to make fun of.
Yeah, well, they are because they sure get defensive.
They get just so like you know, I must admit, I kind of cheered for Canada. I went to bed before the end of the hockey game in the Four Nations Cup because it's like 1:00 o'clock here and I have to work the next day. And I must admit, I can't not really cheer for Canada.
Of course not.
It's those kind of allegiances, they just don't ever go away, which I think is really cool. But then the next day, I saw Justin Trudeau partying with a Canadian jersey on, and I was like, shit, I wish the United States would have won. So
he's not our prime minister.
No, I know, but just anything that makes him happy makes
he's
me
our 51st governor.
I know.
He's not our prime minister. He's our governor.
Is that bad? Is that bad? Like when you see somebody you don't like and they're happy and that makes you unhappy? I don't think that's Christian. I think that's bad.
It is unchristian.
I think I need to
love your neighbor as yourself.
See, if I was Catholic, I would
even
go,
your Canadian neighbors.
Right. If I was a Catholic, I would go to confessional and I would say,
well, maybe you need to take that up tomorrow.
You'd say, I called Justin Trudeau a blackface douchebag, and the priest would say, please say blackface douchebag 5 times instead of Hail Marys, right? Like, because they would probably agree.
Hey, didn't we?
But I don't know.
Didn't we just do Romans 13 in our Bible study group about submit to the authorities?
Let's open that can.
Let's
open that can now.
Let's close the book today.
Okay.
Come back to that one later.
All right. We are
Romans 13. Check it out.
We're out of here. We have other things to do, maintenance, and then I think we are actually we have tickets to go see the Tampa Bay Lightning
play the Canadian
Calgary Flames, which is my favorite team. And now I'm torn because I really love the Lightning, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a Lightning jersey. I have a couple Flames jerseys. I seriously, I'm at a loss.
Well, whoever you're cheering for, I'm cheering for the other team. It's always more fun that way.
Yeah, well, I might have to pull out the Flames jersey then. At least one of us will be happy. All right, till next time. This was fun. Later.
See y'all. Stay BS free.